here. So we'll start that right now. Okay. Perfect. So it looks like it's recording. Okay. So thanks for the introduction. I am the clinical specialist for Western Canada for our respiratory products. So I cover British Columbia all the way through Manitoba, and I do support Remy. So Remy is your territory manager. He's your territory manager right now, and he will be in the interim until we find a replacement for him, because he has a new exciting role in marketing as well. So he's a busy guy, so I'll be helping him out a lot. So how I wanted to kind of do this presentation for you is I wanted to go through some pain points that you're having. We've gotten a lot of, like Jamie said, a lot of feedback recently and a lot of questions about certain things. So I wanted to kind of do a refresher on those pain points. I know Jamie and Remy have done a really wonderful video in servicing you all into the PM10N oximeter, the Excel spreadsheet when you're doing the download. I'm not going to do too much of that because it's already been done, but I'm going to definitely touch on things like spot checks, how to perform them, oximeter. We're going to talk a little bit about, actually a lot about the analytics tool, and we're going to talk about transferring the data, because I think those are your main pain points, are the tool, downloading it, downloading the driver, and then transferring data. So I'm going to go through some tips and tricks with you. If there are specific scenarios where we go through this whole presentation and your question didn't get answered at the end, and I haven't covered your specific issue, we can get in touch and we can book a session with either myself, Remy, both of us, and our product manager, who's an expert in Nellcor analytics, and we will have your problem fixed. So we can do that one-on-one after, and you can get either in touch with Jamie or myself, and we can schedule that. So I'm going to go through this in general first. And I see we have I'm going to try and keep up with the chat. Okay, perfect. Jamie's on it. Okay. So first off, again, I'm not going to go through the whole oximeter with you. I'm sure you're all familiar. The main important button on there that we're going to be talking about a lot is the menu button, and then the check mark button, which is your select, and then you use the up and down button in order to make your selection. Okay. Something else I wanted to talk about again, because we're going to go into this in a little bit more depth, is accessing the service menu. So the service menu is how you go in and you choose your communication settings so that your oximeter can communicate with your computer. So again, I'm sorry if this is something that you're very familiar with, but I just wanted to go through it. So you press the menu button, you scroll down to service menu. The code is 6290 to access that. And then you're going to go into communication settings. And communication settings, again, is where we select our settings for the oximeter to communicate with the computer. So when we go into communication settings, typically when we're using the PM10N, I recommend that clinicians start with using ASCII 115200. So you want to select that one. It's a faster transfer. If that one doesn't work for you, you can try the SPD out 115200. And if those don't work for you, the 19200 is a little bit of a slower transfer. So it depends on your computer situation. If there's a lot going on, you might have to use a slower transfer, but typically ASCII 115200 works for most people. So that's what I tell people to start with. So for the case of this example, we're going to use ASCII 115200. So you'll select that, and now we have our communication properly configured in order to do the transfer. All right.
Could I see that, just the first slide and the second slide again one more time, Kimberly, just for my own?
Sure.
Okay, so it's service menu, the number,
yeah,
and then the power on settings.
Sorry, you're going to scroll down where it says communication settings. It's just not highlighted. It's at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah. So communication settings, here it's highlighted, and then it'll take you to your 4 options. And so that's when you select how you want to transfer your data, so how it communicates with the computer when it's connected via USB. So yeah, again, typically I say start with ASCII 115200. And if it doesn't work, if it's not transferring for you, you might want to try a slower transfer. So that would be the 19200. But ASCII usually works for most people, so that's why we tell people to start with that one. Okay, any questions about that? Pretty good, okay. And again, Jamie went through this in her video with Remy, but I just wanted to kind of touch on this as well. So spot checks. Just to go over it again, you're going to press your menu button and you'll see there it says Save Spot Reading. So you're going to select that by pressing the check mark. And then when you've saved your spot reading, so it's going to, in that moment in time, in current time, it's going to save your spot reading. You'll get a little alert that says spot reading saved. So it will save the time that you selected it, your SpO2, and your pulse rate. Okay, so how to view this? So again, you're going to go into your menu. You're going to scroll down to monitoring history, press the check mark, and you're going to press the check mark on view spot data. And then this screen will appear. So again, it has the time that you saved your spot readings, your SpO2, and your pulse rate. So then you can look for that particular patient, all of your saved spot readings. You want to keep in mind that between patients, you want to make sure that you clear your data. So you're going to go to menu and go down to clear patient history and then select it. It will ask you to confirm, and you're going to confirm that you have cleared the history in between your patients. Okay, I know a lot of people tend to forget to do that, but just so it makes things less complicated for you, you just want to clear the trend data in between each patient. Okay, any questions on that? I know that's probably fairly familiar for you guys. Okay, let's get into the fun stuff. So I don't expect you guys to remember all of this. It's a lot of technical information. Again, I have all of this step by step that I can send you as a resource so you can walk your way through it. I can walk you through it. We can schedule an appointment, or Remy can, or I can set up an appointment with your IT personnel and our product manager. I did that this morning. There was a clinician whose IT did a meeting with our product manager, and he was able to fix all their problems. So again, I know this is a lot of information, but I thought I'd give you an overview so we're all on the same page. So when we're installing, so I'm going to start at the very beginning, installing the Nellcor Analytics tool and installing the driver. So if you're ever in a case where you have to do this yourself, this is how you would go about doing it. So the first thing that's important is to go into your control panel on your computer and establish what edition of Windows you're using, as well as the system type you're using. So when you go into control panel and select system on your computer, it will tell you the Windows edition and it will tell you the system type. So you'll see it circled there. And I see we have some chat. Okay, perfect. I just see Jamie's. Okay, perfect. So that's where you get the information for when you're installing your driver, okay? So when you go to the Nellcor Analytics tool, and again, we can send you the website or your IT personnel the website, you download the website and you need to download the driver in order to transfer data from the oximeter to your computer. So there's lots of different options on the driver's website, and you want to download the one that corresponds to the edition of Windows that is on your computer. So that's why I had you look up what edition of Windows you're using. So for example, this person's using Windows 7, which we already looked at on the past slide. So Windows 7 Enterprise. So we're going to download the Windows 7 edition, and you would click on it and download the file. So next, when you're downloading it, we went and we looked at, and I'll just go back and show you again, the system type. So again, it was a 64-bit operating system. So when we're installing this, you want to select the 64 because that's what the computer has installed on it. So again, the blue arrow is 64-bit, we're just showing you, and the red arrow is 86-bit. So we would select the 64-bit. So you would click on 64 right here, and you would click extract all, and then you would run. So again, if your IT team does this for you, that is amazing. I know I've had clinicians who have set this up themselves. And again, I can send you a step-by-step guide, so you don't have to remember all of this. We can send you the information as well. Okay, so now your driver should be successfully installed. So you've installed your Nellcor Analytics tool, and you've installed the driver in order to use it. So what you're going to do is you're going to power on your PM10N oximeter, and you're going to plug the USB cable into the PM10N first, and then to your computer. And it's really important that the USB configuration is the appropriate one. So you need a USB-A to mini USB cable. So that's important, or it won't connect properly. And you'll notice when you look at your PM10N and you open the little slider at the top, it needs a mini USB cable to attach to it. So you're going to connect to your oximeter, and then you're going to connect to your computer. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go into your device manager. So you click Start on your computer, you click Control Panel, and you go into System. That's where you can find Device Manager. I have Windows 10 on my laptop, so I went into Search and just searched Control Panel, and that's how Device Manager was found on my computer. But this is another way to find it, depending on what edition you have. So when you're in your Device Manager, you're going to see all of the devices that you have on your computer. So you'll notice if you scroll down, it says ports there. So underneath it, it says Silicon Labs. So that means that the driver is installed. If you scroll down and it says ports and Silicon Labs is not there, there's a couple things that you can do to troubleshoot that. It means that there's a connection issue. So you can try a different mini USB cable. There might be something wrong with your USB cable. Again, cable type is crucial. You need that USB-A to micro USB for it to work. You can try a different port on your PC. So you can unplug from your PC and try a different USB port. And you can make sure that the driver is installed. And unfortunately, the only way to do that is to go through those steps and reinstall the driver. But if the driver is installed correctly and your oximeter is connected to your computer, then you should see Silicon Labs. So that's your driver. Beside it, you'll notice it says COM8 on mine. It's really, really important when we're doing a data transfer to see what that COM is, because it's going to ask you on the Nellcor Analytics tool what the COM is. So it needs to know what communication port in order to do that transfer. So this is really important. So here in this example, it says COM8. Yours might say something different. Okay. Someone just asked if the cable comes with the oximeter. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It's just a regular micro USB to USB-A connection. So most offices have them. It's a really common product, so that's something that we didn't provide with the oximeter just because most sites have them on hand. But if you need more information on exactly what USB it is, or you don't remember, I can send you an email and tell you exactly what you need. Okay. So that is how you establish how to communicate the oximeter to your computer. Okay. And again, I know this is a lot of information. I can definitely send you all of it, so it makes it a little easy. And once you've done it a couple times, once it's installed and you've done it a couple times, it becomes quite quick. So transferring data is the next thing I want to talk about. Now we have our driver set up. We have the oximeter connected to the computer. We know what COM we're looking at. So we're ready to transfer that data. So you're going to open your Nellcor Analytics tool, and you're going to press the Tools menu option, and you're going to go to Import Data from Oximeter. This screen is what comes up next. So at the beginning, when I showed you how to look at your service menu and we looked at the protocol, which was our ASCII, we went into our oximeter and we actually selected our protocol and we selected our baud rate. So that's what I had you do at the very, very beginning. And that's why that is so important to do that, because you have to tell the program what protocol, what baud rate to communicate with. Otherwise, it won't work. And I find that that's a lot, that kind of solves a lot of problems for clinicians, is the protocol or the baud rate wasn't set up properly on one or both systems, so it's not communicating properly. So for this example, we chose the ASCII protocol, and we chose that 115200 baud rate. So that's what's on our oximeter and service menu. That's what we're selecting on the Nellcor analytics tool. And I just had you go back and we looked here at our port and we looked at our driver and it says COM8. So that's what we have connected using the USB. So that's what we're going to select. Okay, so here during COM port, we're going to pick COM8. So now we have our protocol selected, our baud rate selected, and our COM port selected. Okay. So again, I feel like this solves most of clinicians' problems is this screen right here. So next, you already have your oximeter turned on. It's already plugged in. We did that a couple screens back. You're going to press the menu button. And you're just going to scroll down to where you can locate transfer data. So when you have it selected, you're going to press the check mark. Okay. And then I believe for your protocol, you use spot data. Again, that's what we went through. So you're going to select spot data in lieu of continuous data. And then you're going to select by USB. And on the Nellcor Analytics tool, we already selected our protocol, our baud rate, and our COM port, just to confirm that. So you can see where you can select download. Once you select download on your Nellcor Analytics tool, you have 5 seconds to start the transfer of data on your oximeter. If you don't select start transfer within 5 seconds, then it will time out. So it's just really important to have this screen set up on your oximeter where it says start transfer. You want to press download first on your Nellcor Analytics tool, and then press the check mark where it says start transfer on your PM10N. This will initiate your download process. Okay. So if you've done that correctly and it was initiated within 5 seconds, you'll see this screen. So the Nellcor Analytics tool will display the progress bar, and the approximate time transferred so far value will begin to increase. The approximate time transferred is not an estimation of how long, it's an estimation of how much time has been stored on the oximeter. So something like a sleep study can take a really long time. So it's important to be mindful of this because the oximeter has to be on for the entire time of the transfer. So if you're doing a sleep study and it's taking a while, so for those long transfers, the power saving on the device can power off and interrupt the transfer of data. So I wouldn't recommend turning it on, starting the transfer and leaving to go do something else, because then you might come back and your oximeter might be turned off. So just something to keep in mind for doing those spot data for, I think most of your purposes, it should do it fairly quickly. So that shouldn't be a concern. Okay. So once the data is transferred, you're going to get this screen. So this is the patient information screen. You can fill out any of the desired fields. You're going to press the Save Patient Info button when complete, and then you'll have access to all of your data. And again, I'm not going to get into this a whole lot just because Jamie did a really great video already where she talked about exporting the data to an Excel spreadsheet and how she wanted it to be formatted and how it should be formatted for your program. But just to remind you, basically, you would go into Tools and you would scroll down to Export, and then you would go to Two Files. You would access Excel. So there's a couple different ways to do the report, but for your purposes, you would do an Excel. So again, you would go to Export, Two Files, and then it's Excel. Okay. So I know I kind of sped through that a little bit. Lots of it is probably just a refresher for you. I know the transferring data is kind of the pain point. I wanted to save room for questions or if there's any specific concerns that any of you have. So is there anything that you want me to go over again? Is there anything that you have specific concerns about?
One of the questions I often get is, what do you plug in first when you're transferring your data? You know, because some people struggle like getting it turned on or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I have a little step-by-step. So you want to plug in your oximeter first. So transferring data. So you want to make sure it is attached to the oximeter first and then the computer.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to make sure, I know I have a slide on it. Now I won't be able to find it, but yeah, it's oximeter then computer.
Okay, no problem. I know sometimes I have to fiddle with mine when I'm doing it. Right now, I don't even know where I think I lent my notes to someone, but yeah, it's sort of the, it's just a little bit of a playing around when you first start it up, sometimes I find.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kim.
Oh, no, I've got nothing to add.
I like this oximeter a lot because you can, when we do exertional testing, you need to have 20 seconds of desaturation period of time. And it's kind of cheating the system, but you're supposed to have that 20 seconds. But if you're spot checking every 5 seconds or so, you can sort of spot check on the moments where you want to spot check, right? So if it bumps up to 88 in there, don't spot check it at that point. You're going to spot check it when it drops a little bit. And so that lets you sort of bypass. I mean, I shouldn't be encouraging that necessarily, but it does make it a little bit more useful because those people do need oxygen. It's just that moment of time, it's really, maybe you're not getting that, you know, that little bit that you need. Looks like Sheila has a question, or there's a few questions coming in. I'll let you read them.
Oh, sure. Okay. Okay, when doing oxygen testing, the 5-minute rest test, for example, with this machine, do we do this in a continuous mode or use the spot checks? Does this mean we push the spot check every few seconds? Maybe I'll let you answer that one, Jamie.
Yeah, that's a sale question. So when we're doing that rest, you know, we really just need to start recording when they start desaturating at the start. If we're wanting to do the 5-minute rest after to see how they improved, just doing 20 to 30 seconds spot check is fine, especially with this machine because the data comes off second by second, and that would be like 20,000 pages of data. So if you spot check every 10, 20 seconds, then, you know, you can get like a less than 1 page result from that. So yes, I would use your spot check, Sheila. The other thing is sometimes, and you shouldn't be altering your data at all, but you do have to alter the data that comes out of the Excel file because there's so much extra stuff on there. So you can make edits on there and then you can do your charting, you know, what was happening during the test right in the Excel file as well. And I know if you see that video, then you'll know a little bit more what I mean, but the spot check is really helpful. I wish it was automatic. Wish you could program the spot check. I've told Remy that for a few years. I'm like, you need to get on them and say, just get that like every 5 seconds or something, which would be awesome.
They do listen to us with some things. I mean, we were asking for things for the Shiley Airways for a long time, and they did make really great changes. So they do listen. Sometimes it just takes a little while.
I think I just answered Joan's question too there.
Is there a way to set the machine when doing exertional testing? Yes, you did. Yeah.
If you didn't catch that, Joan, I can talk to you after, but basically no is the answer.
And then I saw someone asked, who do we contact for oximeter repairs and to get the protective covers? You can contact me. Jamie has my contact information, or you can contact Remy, who's the territory manager. So both of us support Saskatchewan. So we can get you in touch with the correct people from Medtronic to help you with that.
Do you want to post your contact information in the chat?
Sure. Yeah.
Awesome. I have another question from an RT in Swift Current. Let me just find it here. It says, oh, well, basically it says, we like the old N20s. Everyone loves the old N20s. They were super easy to use. And basically sale was based off of those oximeters, all the, the testing. So no, we can't get those. It says, with the newer computer oximeters, we have to wait until the test is completed and download to see the results. So if he finds it frustrating that he can't see second by second on the screen, is there a way to, I think you can see the clock, can't you?
Yeah, you can. Like at the top, it has the clock, and then you can go through your history and look at your continuous data. But I understand it's frustrating not being able to get that full report. I know, like with the printout, you could see the full report as it was happening, and obviously, I understand because I'm an RT as well, and I also love the printout. But unfortunately, the way that technology is going is they want to do everything by Wi-Fi. They want to do everything by hooking up to your computer and transferring data, and all those lovely printer oximeters are all being discontinued.
Yeah, and it seems like let's keep things simple, but I don't know.
I know.
The other thing he said that his Excel transfer is cumbersome and takes up to 30 minutes. Do you think that's probably because he has that setting wrong that you mentioned earlier, the ACH?
The ASCII, yeah. So it could be his setting. I would be curious to know if he's doing continuous data or spot checks, and if the spot checks might work better for him. If that's something that you typically do in your program, that might be why, is that he's trying to transfer a lot of data. So I would ask if he's using continuous or spot check. And then, yeah, I would look at his protocol and his baud rate on the oximeter and play around with ASCII versus FPD out, and play around with the faster baud rate versus the slower one. The faster one is the one with more numbers in it, the 11520. Try the slower one and see if it transfers more efficiently for him. But I would check those two things.
Okay, I'll pass that on. I think that's it from his. There was another couple in the
copy of the PowerPoint. Yes, I can send this to Jamie so you can have a copy. I know it's helpful to kind of walk through it if you have something in front of you with pictures.
Yeah, so I'll once I get this recording get it posted, I'll send out an email with a link to the recording and to the PowerPoint, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
There was one other one from Sheila here. Is there anyone who comes out to areas to do teaching in person if we watch the video and still feel a bit lost?
Yeah, we definitely can coordinate that for you. It's been a little tricky with COVID, but I know Rimi's been traveling around Saskatchewan up until a couple of weeks ago. And I mean, I could definitely come out too. It's something that we definitely want to support you guys and make sure that you feel supported and you understand how to use it properly. So we could definitely coordinate something if we're not able to help you virtually, which is how we've been doing training and how we've been doing kind of one-on-one troubleshooting for the technical side. We could definitely work something out. So just let us know. We'll work with you to kind of figure out the best way to help you.
I don't know how the system works, and I know maybe Glenda, you're on here. Maybe you would have this answer, unless I don't know, or maybe Jennifer. I see Jennifer too. But maybe you guys know how it works for the health authority to get approval from your IT and service departments, because I don't really myself understand that, being outside the health authority. But maybe you have. Or maybe you know, Kim, I don't know how exactly you need approval to get the software uploaded, et cetera.
I don't. I know it's obviously different from region to region. Do you typically, the clinicians that are on the call, do you typically have an IT professional coming and setting this all up for you? Or is this something that you're expected to set up yourself, and then you also are responsible, obviously, to do all the transfer?
There's something that I get emails about, and I have no idea, I just send them on to you guys, but it has something to do with needing IT approval, I don't know, for admissions or something.
Yeah, a lot of the times the biggest problem that I run into with clinicians, besides the protocol baud rate and COM port not being the same on the oximeter and the computer, that's usually the biggest one, is the fact that depending on what company or government affiliation or health authority you're working for, there's usually a firewall, and that is something that we can help with. It has to be IT that gets permission to bypass that firewall. Which makes sense. They're trying to stop, drivers that don't belong to that program from getting in. So that's something, unfortunately, we have to work with IT for. But that's typically the one that I see the most. Is there's some sort of firewall preventing you from downloading the driver and then transferring the data.
Okay. Yeah, Glenda says here the IT has to give them. Oh, Glenda, are you going to talk?
Oh no, that's okay.
You can, don't be scared. She says that they have to give the nurses approval or the program will get scrubbed off the computer. So I'm guessing that's for the whole health authority. It could be region specific. I'm not sure.
Okay. Sheila says she spoke to IT in our region and he added software for me. I have to test it and let him know if it works after this presentation. Yeah, let me know if, or you can get in touch with me directly if you want, and let me know if you need me to help you walk through the transfer.
Official order. Yeah, we don't.
Anything else I hear? I don't know if someone's not muted or what, but is there any questions?
I know it's a lot of information. Definitely the PowerPoint will help. That's how my brain works, is I have to be doing it while I'm reading the information and walking through it. And then it's actually, I know it seems kind of daunting, but once you figure out how to do the transfer with the protocol and the baud rate and the COM, it's actually pretty quick. You understand what to look for and how to make the oximeter communicate with your computer. And then it's easy. It's just this startup where you have to download the driver and download the tool and then figure out how it all communicates. That's the pain. So once we have you guys all set up, then you should be good to go.
Yeah, over in the morning.
Yeah, and I know it's pretty tough when you have the patient there and you're doing the testing and you got to go and load it and nothing's working right, and that can be really frustrating. So if we get it set up before you need to do that, and understanding then and practicing. That's why I tell everyone after we do our home oxygen training course is go and practice, because otherwise the next time you do it, it'll just, you won't remember what to do. But speaking of that, there is a home oxygen course on Thursday. If any of your staff or colleagues want to take it, I believe it's at 10 o'clock. So just throwing that out right now while we're chatting.
Perfect. Does anyone else have any questions for me? Any specific situations that I didn't go over? That sometimes you hear of wonky tech situations that are kind of, specific to that person or clinician. Anything that I didn't cover? I feel like these main pain points that I went over and main tips and tricks are the things that will help you the most. They seem to be what are the common issues among most of our customers. So hopefully that kind of makes it a little bit more smooth and seamless for you all.
Thanks, Kim. I appreciate it. I don't see any more questions unless someone wants to speak up. But I love that you took some time to help us out today. Give me some direction, give everyone else a little bit of direction. I put that link to the previous video in the chat. If anyone wants to watch the demo, that'll just give you some ideas on how to do that download for sale. And also Kim posted her email if you want to touch base with her to figure any of this out. And don't message me because I'll just send you to Kim. So I mean, I can help a little bit if I try to, but this is her specialty area. So appreciate it so much for partnering with me today. And I'll get this sent out to all the people who weren't in attendance and all the testers across the province. So they'll be all getting the same message.
Wonderful. Perfect.